You've just entered the Dota 2 High School, and today's lesson is on creep equilibrium. It is a very important fundamental understanding you need to have about how to lane, how to win the laning phase. A lot of creep equilibrium has to do with creep aggro and trading. There will be other lessons on those concepts specifically, but today what I just want to talk about is creep equilibrium, and I'll mention a little bit about aggro and trading. But first off, we're gonna talk about, what creep equilibrium is, how we use it to our advantage, and how it can help us win a lane. I'm Navetz, representing my esports team, the Sploush Troupe, and this video is brought to you on behalf of Gamers Class. So, what is creep equilibrium? If we take a look at our creep waves coming forward here, we have creep wave number 1 moving forward, and we have creep wave number 1 moving forward in the safe lane. So these are the safe lane creep waves. Notice that both this Terrorblade and this Nature's Prophet are skipping this creep wave. What will happen if these two creep waves right here, we're going to forget about the rest of the game, if these two creep waves meet up and they fight to the death? Well, most likely we're going to have creep wave 1 kill creep wave 2 with 1 creep left with a little bit of HP, run under tower, get hit, and then the next 2 creep waves are going to come back and they're going to meet in the exact same place. So that means that creep equilibrium is where your creep waves are going to meet together. And that right now, or normally, when there's nothing impeding the creep waves, when there's no other factors involved, is right about here. And what that means, what the other thing that means is it tells you which lane is your safe lane and which lane is your off lane. That's how we determine that this lane for the Radiant is safe lane and that this lane for the Dire is the safe lane. It's because the creep wave meets around here for the Dire, which gives you access to your tower, making it safer for you to retreat back here. So creep equilibrium determines the safeness of you being able to move backwards, or you being able to back up into safety, which is the same situation here. So we back up a little bit, we're under our tower safely, and we're able to farm under tower. We're also able to farm under tower easier since they changed the mechanics of how towers work. It's now a lot easier to get last hits under tower, which is a pretty big important factor. So we're going to see what happens right here. Actually, I watched this a little bit earlier, and this is how you can lose lane equilibrium. So they went for a kill and they accidentally drew a little bit of creep aggro. Now these two waves, normally they would have met together right here. We're going to go back about 10 seconds and see exactly what happens here so we can fully understand what's going to happen. So they're right clicking this Veno. This draws creep aggro onto these guys. And now look at our situation. This is really, really important because this is how you know if you're going to lose or change the creep equilibrium. First off, if you have more creeps than the enemy, if your creep wave has more creeps than the enemy, you are probably going to push your wave forward. Your wave is going to go forward. If you have less creeps than the enemy, they're going to push into you. So knowing which way the wave is pushing determines where the creeps meet, and that's where creep equilibrium would be. It would be ideal for the Venomancer and the Tiny if they could maintain creep equilibrium right around this area. So if they could bring the creeps back or have the creeps meet right here, that would be perfect for them. They probably can't do that right now, or they probably can't do that all the time. There's situations where you can, but we're going to look at what's going to happen right here. So because they were right clicking this Veno and they did get the Veno kill, what happened was that these two range creeps, or these two melee creeps, were pulled forward, and then they stopped drawing aggro. And when they stopped drawing aggro, they started attacking this range creep. And what that means is that this range creep is going to be attacked by 2 of the melee creeps. Now the range creeps do quite a bit of damage from the back, or they do quite a bit of range damage. They have 23 damage, whereas the melee creeps only have 21 damage, but they have less health. They only have 300 health. So after these 2 melee creeps finish attacking this guy, Arteezy, who we're watching, is going to need to right click this range creep to get the last hit. What that means is that there's going to be 3 melee creeps left over for the Dire side, while the Radiant side is going to have this creep going under 50% HP, so he's going to be in deniable range. But these two are going to be forward, and then we're going to end up in a situation where his lane's pushing, because they're going to kill this range creep a lot faster than this melee creep is going to die, and he's going to have to last hit this. Then the melee creeps are going to go over here and hit these guys. So we're going to watch how this plays out. So this creep is about to die. This creep is about to die as well. Now you have 3-2, and he has to last hit the other one. So now we're in the wave with 3 creeps. We're in the wave with 3 creeps down to 2. This means that when the next creep wave comes, which is right here, and this one comes, there's going to be an additional 4, and there's going to be probably a +1 on the Radiant side here. Now, he did something just now, which I don't know if you noticed. I'll go back a couple seconds. It's a pretty big deal. Watch after the wave gets killed. This is a small but important detail. He kills that creep. Now, watch what he's going to do. If he just let these 2 creeps here attack these 2 creeps, they might not even bring one of these creeps below deniable HP. They probably will bring at least one of the Radiant creeps below deniable HP. But instead, what he's going to do is take his hero, he's going to right click on the tiny, and he's going to draw these 2 creeps towards his range creep. This is so that he can deny his range creep. Range creeps give more gold, or give more gold and experience. I'm not positive about gold, actually. I'm pretty sure they give more gold and experience, but range creeps are what determines whether or not you can maintain or keep your creep equilibrium. So he's going to bring these 2 creeps back this way and have them attack the range creep. So here we go. Let's watch it happen. He right clicks the tiny. These 2 creeps attack him. Then they de-aggro and they start attacking the range creep. And now he has the opportunity to deny his range creep. And now he's not going to attack these 2 creeps unless he wants to push this wave forward. There are situations where you would want to do that, but not all of the time. Since there's an engagement going on, he's giving up on the creep equilibrium. Normally you'd want to get this last hit, obviously, but his Nature's Prophet is in trouble. He's going to move forward to fight here, but his lane now is going to push forward. So he sacrificed lane equilibrium to push forward. However, there was an opportunity to get a kill. So we'll see how this plays out a little bit with a couple different examples, but this was an introduction to lane equilibrium. Creep equilibrium is also really important in the mid wave, and blocking has a lot to do with creep equilibrium. A lot of people don't understand why you block. This is why. We're about to see what happens in this situation where the Queen of Pain is getting her block off. The Magnus missed his block on the first creep, so he just gives up altogether. We're gonna see where these 2 creep waves meet, and then I'll pause at that point and explain the advantages and disadvantages. Now, all right, let's pause here. So this is pretty good. Where is this creep wave? So first off, we're a Magnus against a Queen of Pain. That's a melee against a ranged hero. If this was 2 ranged heroes, this would be even better for Queen of Pain, or this would be an even better situation for Queen of Pain because of the fact that she's on the high ground and the other hero would be on the low ground. Another thing that could have happened, these creep waves, if Magnus blocked just a little bit, this creep wave could have met like right here at the bottom of the steps. That will reveal to you whether Magnus has a ward or not, because you can take your Queen of Pain, you can right click on the Magnus, and then if these creeps aggro towards you, it means that he has a ward because they can see you high ground. The only way they would be able to see you high ground is if they have some kind of vision here on the high ground. Otherwise, they would not be able to see you. So in this situation, you've got your creep equilibrium at the top of your staircase. Queen of Pain will be able to attack Magnus. Queen of Pain should be able to get more last hits here. And additionally, she has the tower right behind her, which gives her the additional armor and HP regen auras. So this is an advantageous situation for Queen of Pain. She won the block. It can be brought back, but overall, this is how winning the block in terms of blocking the creeps brings you into an advantage in the early game. Right now, she has the advantage over our Magnus, and she just got herself into a good situation by getting a better block off than him. Now we're gonna look bottom, and we're gonna see how a block could actually hurt you in the Radiant side of on the Radiant side of the map. So up here, you don't really have to worry about a block hurting you that much, because no matter how much you block here, you're not really going to end up with creeps under your tower. It'll meet like right here at best, just out of tower range. But if you block hard on this side, what will happen and these guys don't block, which they are actually blocking right now. But if they weren't blocking, just letting these creeps go by, and Bloodseeker was blocking, what would happen is the creeps would go all the way under this tower, and it would force Bloodseeker to last hit under tower. His tower would attack, and it would force the creeps to move forward through the fact that he would have more, or the Radiant side would have more left over after the creep waves were killed. It would push forward, and then they would end up meeting over here, making it a very hard lane for Bloodseeker to lane in. So we're going to see what happens here. Clockwork's creeps are moving forward. They're going to meet just outside of this tower range. In fact, this Bloodseeker is going to come forward a little bit to stop this creep from going under tower. You see this creep hits him one time. He doesn't want it under tower, but Clockwork says, oh, that's what you want to do? I'm going to force them to go under tower. He's going to right click the Bloodseeker. He right clicks the Bloodseeker. These creeps, these three, aggro towards the Clockwork, and now these melee creeps turn their attention onto the Bloodseeker and they go under tower. So creep equilibrium now, one way or another, has been forced to move this way. There are ways to re-establish creep equilibrium, but we're just looking at the introduction here at the moment. Creep equilibrium has been forced to move forward because this tower is going to destroy or help destroy at least two of these creeps. If they start fighting, if another hero shows up, because Doom's not here yet, if other stuff happens, it could completely mess with the creep equilibrium. But at this point, let's speed it up a little bit. We'll see how this creep wave looks in a couple seconds. Okay. Creep equilibrium is now being pushed forward, and actually Doom also ate the range creep. So they are pushing creep equilibrium, or they are pushing forward with 3 creeps after their initial creep wave is done, in comparison to the no creeps left over. This is the second creep wave that has moved out, and now this second creep wave is moving forward, and it's probably going to meet around this mark, making it less safe for the Bloodseeker. Now, there are situations and reasons that you do want to push forward, and also a good reason for Doom to eat that creep is so they can get the gold and experience from the range creep. If you lose creep equilibrium, a good solution sometimes is just to push the wave fast under the tower so that your support can pull the next creep wave, and then you can re-establish creep equilibrium later, but we'll look at that more in a second. Heroes with summons are really good at maintaining creep equilibrium because you get a laning advantage early on. Beastmaster, Lycan, Nature's Prophet, these 3 heroes are particularly really good at winning the lane. So there's a number of different things that happen in this lane, and we're going to take a look at basically all of them. So first off, we're going to see how this Skywrath and Beastmaster play against this Troll and Wraith King. Now, I know it's a Troll Warlord, so whatever, but sometimes this happens where these creeps end up pushing really fast. Beastmaster is getting me last hits. He's got 2 last hits, 1 deny. But the creep wave is going to push forward here basically for sure. He's got so many creeps left over. They're right clicking them so much. These creeps are guaranteed to push towards this tower. How do we take this and give us an advantage over this? Like, what can we do in this situation? Well, this is where the position 4's job becomes really important. Now, you could do this with Beastmaster alone if you take this boar and you separate your boar from your hero and bring it over to this creep camp. This is a situation where these creeps are going to walk up to this tower, and when these creeps are right about here, that's when you're going to attack this creep camp and pull it this way. What this is going to do is force Wraith King to lose almost a full creep wave. So Beastmaster is going to continue pressuring Wraith King. They did kill the troll, so he's going to pressure Wraith King, get all the last hits that he can here. He's at 6 last hits, 1 deny. Skywrath is pulling the wave, and then what Wraith King did, instead of disrupt Wraith, what Beastmaster did, instead of going to disrupt Wraith King under tower, he walked around here. Let's go back a couple seconds and take a look. He gets his ranged last hit, so he sees he's over here. He's walking around here, and he's gonna set up a kill on the Troll Warlord again. So now he's got Boars slowing the Troll. He's got the concussive shot from the Skywrath, and now he pushed on, and they managed to get the kill here. So Wraith King's forced under tower. He only has a little bit of regen left. Now look where the next creep wave is. So this creep wave is being denied by this creep camp as much as it can be, but look where this one's going. It's going to end up under tower, and Beastmaster can't get there in time. This is a really smart play here. He teleports to this tower to get these last hits instead of forcing himself to walk and possibly miss 1 to 2 last hits. He teleports and guarantees securing all of these last hits and getting himself the advantage in terms of experience and gold. Now Wraith King's forced to stay under tower, which really sucks for him. He gets a couple of these leftover creeps, which is okay, but now they're going to do essentially the same thing. So we're going to watch how Beastmaster plays this. He is not going to attack any of these creeps unless they are absolutely at last hit potential, and anytime his creeps are below 50% HP, he starts killing them right away. This forces this creep wave to push this way. Now this the Troll did try to pull, and Skywrath came and pulled the creeps over here, but you're going to see that the creep advantage is going to go towards the Beastmaster and the Skywrath again very shortly. So he's going to be able to deny this range creep because there's a melee creep attacking it, and then he's going to be able to get his range creep kill with his boar. Now come back here, he's going to come get this range creep deny, and then he's going to deny another one of his creeps, and still we take a look at what's left over. There are 2 creeps left over to 1. He's going to let them attack as much as they can until this is below 50% HP. He's going to start attacking this right away, manages to kill it, and then he's going to get this last hit. Now stuff's happening over here, so this is where he has to pay attention. He knows that a single pull has happened. What this means, since this single pull has happened, it means that these creeps are going to kill this creep wave, and then whatever creeps are left over are going to push back this way, and creep equilibrium is going to push towards his tower. At the same time, his Skywrath pulled his creep wave over here, so there's a lot going on. There's quite a bit to consider. His Skywrath pulled this creep wave over here, so instead of losing advantage of creep equilibrium, or instead of letting them just single pull without Skywrath doing anything, Skywrath managed to deny basically this whole creep wave to the enemy side. And if we look at who has the level advantage right now, we have level 3 and level 2 against level 1 and level 3. But the Beastmaster is closer to level 4. He's going to get these creeps, these 3 creeps right here. Wraith King won't be able to get these creeps, and then there's going to be another creep wave coming forward. It's going to meet right about here. So we're going to see this play out a little bit more, and then we're going to call it on this one, because this is like essentially Beastmaster and Skywrath won this lane by getting the early kill and then pulling appropriately. They were able to control this whole game by pulling and maintaining everything appropriately. Now, and actually Troll just messed up here. He pulled this range creep. That really sucks for them. So Wraith King's strategy now is get last hits at any cost, even if he has to lose creep equilibrium. Beastmaster has basically won this lane. He's going to use creep aggro to pull as much as he can. Oh, he doesn't even get that last hit there. That's so sad. And he's gonna continue pulling things under his tower just to get whatever he can, and then he's gonna go into the jungle. So this lane is basically over for Wraith King and Troll Warlord, whereas the Beastmaster kind of has free reign to control it. And actually, let's see exactly what he does here. He's probably gonna bring the creep wave here, and then he's just gonna wait. I don't know if he's gonna push it or not. It looks like he is pushing it a little bit. He doesn't have to worry too much about how much he pushes it, because he does have an advantage and he can deny all of these creeps. So every time the creep is below 50% HP, he gets the deny. And yeah, he's essentially controlling where these creeps are going to end up. So the next wave is going to come forward. The Wraith King pulls. They're going to use they're going to go through this little song and dance for a while, but Beastmaster has gotten himself the advantage. And basically once Beastmaster hits level 6, Wraith King's probably going to be forced out of lane unless he manages to get level 6 at a similar time. But still, Wraith King doesn't want to lane against the Beastmaster anymore. They've lost. Beastmaster and Skywrath have taken advantage. The laning phase we're about to look at here is very interesting. There's so many different things that happen that swing back and forth between which lane has the advantage. Nobody really gets kills. People fall behind, fall ahead. They use creep aggro to get advantages. They use the idea of lane equilibrium to try to win the lane. So we're going to see how this one pans out here. Now, you'll notice that it started right there with the anti-mage getting the range deny on Pepe Sylvia, and see what's happening right here. So this is how they're trying to maintain equilibrium. Anti-mage has 3 creeps left over from the first creep wave, whereas our boy Pepe Sylvia, Charlie from Always Sunny, for those of you who get the reference, is only sitting here with 2 creeps left over, and these creeps have already met this wave. Now, how did these creeps end up here? Our Pangolier used creep aggro to bring them towards him, and then Anti-Mage used creep aggro to bring these creeps towards her, because it's actually female persona Anti-Mage. But when that happened, these creeps came out of range, and when they stopped attacking out of range of each other, and when they stopped attacking or aggroing the Pangolier, all that was left over was the hero in range. So he brought them back here, and he's maintaining these creeps up here. So these are the leftover creeps, right? Now let's see how this goes. Anti-Mage wants the lane to stand around here. So he's going to basically get the last hit on anything he can, whereas Pangolier did a similar thing, but Pangolier did something really, really cool. So you see here, there's 2 creeps left over. Now watch this. This is such a pro level move. If these 2 creeps were just to attack right now, they would attack this melee creep. So this looks like an insignificant thing, but this is actually a big deal. While our Anti-Mage is running in circles, he has vision of the Anti-Mage. He also has vision of any creep or any other hero on the map. If he right clicks any creep on the or any hero on the map, he'll draw creep aggro. So what Pangolier is going to do is draw creep aggro. Look where these 2 creeps come. They come forward to attack him, and then they turn their attacks afterwards towards this range creep. If this range creep goes below 50% HP, he can start attacking it and deny it from the Anti-Mage. Remember, range creeps are the most important part of winning your lane. So by doing this, by this little trick of creep aggro, he pulled these back here, and he was able to get these 2 creeps to attack a couple times. He missed the last hit, which is unfortunate, but he gets that one, and now he has the ability to last hit this range creep before it comes up forward over here. And this is actually going to give him equal lane equilibrium with the Anti-Mage. If he didn't do that, he would not have been able to kill a melee creep. He wouldn't have really been able to do anything, and his wave would have pushed forward under tower. Now, that's probably what's going to happen anyways. We're going to speed this up a bit and see how this wave continues to go, because at this point, Anti-Mage just wants to get the last hits. Pangolier wants to try to bring the creep equilibrium back. Anti-Mage wouldn't want to push forward, but we do have a pull happening at the same time. So let's slow down again. Now, a pull happens at the same time. That means that there's 2 creeps going to be left over, and Anti-Mage is going to be hitting under tower. So while Anti-Mage hits under tower, Pangolier is going to come and bring these creeps to meet right here, where he's going to try to keep the creep equilibrium. He's going to try to start bringing it back over here. Eventually, he'll be successful in that, but not for a little while. He uses his spells. Notice that he uses his spells to secure the last hits on the range creeps. That's very important. Now, this creep is pushing forward. Our Pangolier nukes the whole wave and the Anti-Mage. The Pangolier is very low on health. He's got to be careful. He's got to play this very, very cautiously. Both of these heroes are running low on health. If Anti-Mage and if the Disruptor are able to get a kill, it would be very good, but unfortunately they're not. And now, after all this happens, look at how many creeps are left. The creep wave has just met here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 melee creeps and 1 range creep, whereas there are 1, 2, 3, 4 creeps and another creep wave coming in here with another 3 melee creeps and a range creep. Anti-Mage pulls this wave back so that they can start attacking over here. And and Pangolier is going to be able to get some last hits. Now, this is exactly what you want if you're low on health. You want the wave pushing into you, because it means if you do nothing, Anti-Mage can't bring the wave back towards her or him if it's the male version, but Anti-Mage can't bring the wave back towards her at this moment. So this is going to move forward, and the creeps are going to eventually end up in this area. And the only way to stop that is going to be to pull. Now, this wave was just killed here. What was it? I'm not sure if there's creep camp there. I'm pretty sure that creep camp was killed. Yeah, this creep camp was killed, so they can't do that yet. So the wave is pushing forward towards this Pangolier and towards this Pugna, and they're going to be able to get last hits here, where if the lane equilibrium was maintained up here, they would not be able to do this. So this is advantageous for Pangolier, and it might look like, hey, Pangolier's not really winning the lane. He's not killing the Anti-Mage. They're on the back foot, but that's not what's the most important thing. The most important thing is that Pangolier should be having a very, very hard time. Like, Pangolier and Pugna should be having a very hard time against Anti-Mage and Disruptor. This is one of the strongest early game lineups that you can go against. So here we have the Pango still getting farm, putting pressure on the Anti-Mage, limiting Anti-Mage's farm as much as possible, getting the ranged last hit. Now he's going to send himself some more regen. I believe it's on the way. Yep, he's got a salve coming. And look where the creep wave is still. So this is pretty good news for our Pangolier. It's going to continue pushing forward, and while he's not able to get every creep or stay in lane, this is still very good for him because the creep wave is still right here. This is how maintaining creep equilibrium is done. Now that he's brought it forward, the only way that Anti-Mage and Disruptor will be able to reset it is by doing exactly what they're doing here. So Disruptor is going to come forward, he's going to pull this creep wave, and then at the 15-second mark, he's going to pull these two camps, or he's going to stack this creep camp. Then at the 15-second mark, he's going to pull this creep wave up here, which is going to drag these creeps into this creep camp, denying a whole creep wave from the Anti-Mage and the Pugna. When they realize what's happening, they'll probably run over this way because Disruptor is going to try to get these last hits. They might have some time to disrupt that. If they don't go, they'll miss out on a whole creep wave. So actually, our boy Pugna knew what was going on, and that's why he nuked that creep wave. So it would go forward under tower, and they would have an opportunity to go here to the right. That's like such a pro level move. I know it doesn't seem like a big thing, but that's a big move right there. And Pugna is now putting pressure on the Disruptor. They think they might be able to kill him. Even if they weren't able to, our Pangolier would have been able to get that melee last hit. He would have been able to get the range last hit, and he would have been able to get these two last hits. So they're playing this lane really, really well. And now I'm gonna move forward to about, let's skip forward a little bit. This pull that I'm about to show you is really only doable on the dire side of the map, and it requires this creep or this tree to be taken down. Now what we're gonna see is Bane pull this creep wave up here. Now let's look at our situation. Our Tiny has stolen the creep wave from here, brought it all the way around this way, and let it move up to here. So now Tiny has stolen the creep wave. Beastmaster is going to come back for it. They're going to try to deny this whole creep wave from Clinks and from Bane. So what Clinks and Bane want to do is counter this by denying a creep wave of their own. And at 1 minute and 17 seconds, he's going to pull it up this way. Now he's going to eat this tree, pull this creep wave forward, and pull all of his creeps towards this tower over here. What Clinks did, we'll go back and watch exactly what Clinks did. Clinks walked in a circle while this was all happening. Look, his creep wave's here. Bane's about to do it. Clinks is going to walk in a circle. He doesn't want the creep wave to come here. He wants to stop it from going under tower and catching this creep wave and stopping it from being pulled. So now he's pulling it here. He did try to catch one creep. He would have been able to deny that creep, but still, now it's under tower. He's able to last hit it. They're going to deny one creep wave. The rest is going to push forward. This creep wave is going to be at this large camp after Clinks is done here. Oh, no, not even that. Clinks is going to drag the creep wave all the way over here. Even better, he drags the creep wave down over here. He's going to deny his range creeps soon if he can. But this is how he stopped the tiny pull. This is interesting. He stopped the tiny pull by letting Bane pull the creep wave up here, holding his creep wave out here, then pulling it all the way around. And now he's bringing this final creep all the way back here. This is a lot of interesting stuff happening with lane equilibrium and a really interesting pull. All right, we're at 8 minutes and 30 seconds. And at this point, we're going to see how Anti-Mage is deciding to play the lane. Right now, what Anti-Mage is going to do is push this lane forward. He's going to force his creeps to go under Pangalier's tower so that the creep wave, if the creeps go under the tower, the creep wave will eventually push forward and then he can come back and meet it. What that does is it gives Anti-Mage the ability to go into the jungle here, farm this camp, and then come back around to meet the creeps right around here when creep equilibrium stabilizes. If Pango wanted to, he could sit here and just deny all of his creeps, which he's actually going to do. He's going to deny his creeps, slowing down Anti-Mage's farm. But Anti-Mage knows that if he lanes against Pango, he won't be able to get every last hit. He might also fall, or this version, she might also fall into danger of dying. So she's going to move forward here, catch the creep wave, like I said, under her tower, and then she's going to come forward to try to get some last. She's going to come forward to try to get the next last hits. Now look what happens right here. Pangolier knows that Anti-Mage wants to maximize farm right now, so that's why Anti-Mage is pushing forward. Anti-Mage, it's about to be the 10-minute mark. Anti-Mage wants to get the bounty runes. Pangolier is standing in this large camp because he knows the strategy that Anti-Mage wants to go for is push wave, come farm big camp, come farm small camp, come back, meet wave. That's kind of the situation that you get into as an Anti-Mage. So Anti-Mage moved forward, seeing if there was an opportunity to get the bounty. Pangolier went, picked up the bounty, and now he's going to slow down Anti-Mage's farm with a very simple maneuvering of being able to deny him this large creep camp by standing in it. So it denies it to him, and now Anti-Mage does not want to go forward, doesn't want to put herself at risk of dying. The creep wave is going to come forward again here. Pango could maintain creep equilibrium if he wanted to, but this is the situation in the game where a catapult is showing up. They want to put some pressure on the enemy team. Invoker is making a play. They're moving forward towards it. Pango's going to push the wave. They're going to do damage to the tower. Anti-Mage is going to try her best to get whatever she can. But in this situation, Pango has kind of come out on top. He's done as well as you could expect Pango to do in a lane that he's kind of supposed to lose. A couple final things to mention about creep equilibrium. If you have spells, especially spells that are AoE spells, and you cast them on top of a creep wave, it will mean that you'll lose control of equilibrium unless you're intentionally trying to push forward. So if you're nuking waves, you'll end up pushing forward. What's going on here? Let's move quick through this. The next thing is that if you are low on HP and you don't have regeneration, it also means that you won't be able to control the creep equilibrium. Well, if you've lost control of the creep equilibrium, you won't be able to regain control of it. That is because the enemy team will continue holding the creep wave in place where they want it, and then they won't let you come forward and pull or use aggro. They will just attack you and kill you. They'll put you in a position where you're going to die. If you lose control of creep equilibrium, what you can do to reset control is either kill the whole creep wave, if you can, or you can pull. A pull is very advantageous for you in terms of getting back control of creep equilibrium. In fact, that's why pulling is so important, so you can control the creep wave and creep equilibrium. You can see here our buddy BSJ, the Spectre, is having a bit of a tough time right now because all of the creeps are being controlled by the Mars. They're using a creep pull right now to pull the wave into the small camp. However, what this is going to do is double stack the wave. They're going to have these 2 melee creeps, 1 range creep, and then another 3 melee creeps and a range creep meeting up here. What the other team did in this situation, which is very smart, so this is what you do in a pull situation. Lion attacks these creeps, pulls this creep wave forward, and pulls his creep wave out towards this stacked creep camp. So this is all within the first 2 minutes. This is how intricate and complicated it gets. Now the Bane is trying to stop that creep wave pull from happening. Since the Bane can't stop that creep wave pull from happening, he puts himself in a dangerous position. Lion's gonna back up and our Mars is gonna play forward, and it looks like he's just gonna get the first blood here on the Bane. So Bane does go down, Lion's sitting at low health, and now they have that double creep wave we were talking about pushing forward. And for the next little bit, Mars is going to get the advantage in this lane. He's going to be able to farm it pretty freely, get some damage off on Spectre, and is going to pull the creep wave back over here. Now lane equilibrium has moved forward. He has control. At this point, all they can really do is hope to get some good pulls, try to stop these pulls from happening. That's what your safe lane position's job is. And the same thing goes for this lane over here, for your position. For your position 4 and your position 5, it's your jobs to either pull or control lane equilibrium through pulling, or stop pulls from happening. You have to know when they're gonna happen. It's all very, very important. I think we've got enough good examples in the books here. This was just one more to see how within the first 3 minutes, Mars and Lion kind of took control of this Spectre, pulled the creep wave over here, and now Spectre's having a hard time farming. Thank you for watching, everyone. That was Dota High School's episode on creep equilibrium. Hope you enjoyed. Range creeps. Range creeps are worth your spells. So you use your spells, use your spectral daggers, use your ether shocks from Shadow Shaman. Whatever you have to do to secure range creeps, do it. But if they're AoE spells, try not to target them on the whole creep wave. Otherwise, you might mess up creep equilibrium. All right, guys, until next time, my name is Navetz, representing my esports team, the Sploush Troupe. This video was brought to you on behalf of Gamers Class. One love.